Thank you for the introduction. So I'm going to be talking a bit about the coupling work we've been doing at ACCESS-NRI using NUOPC. So to jump right in, what I'm going to talk about, I'm briefly going to introduce what is NUOPC. I'm going to talk about why we're interested in using it, and I'm going to give a brief update on the progress we've made to date. So first of all, what is NUOPC? NUOPC is a communication layer on top of ESMF for coupling your models together. It has 4 basic building blocks. The driver, which orchestrates the whole thing. It does model initialization and finalization. It controls the time stepping and organizes the data transfers between model components. And so we use a pre-built driver, so that's not something we have to worry about building. The other component is your model caps. These are just thin wrappers on top of your models that grabs the data, puts them into ESMF format, and allows the coupler to communicate them. The third component, which is optional, is your mediator. And that can interpolate, mask, and merge data, whatever you want it to do. You can basically combine them. You can even calculate fluxes in there and pass that around to your models. And finally, the connectors that actually do the transferring of the data. But that's automatically handled and not something we really need to worry about too much. And so CMAPs, this is what we use. This is a particular NUOPC compliant mediator. So Bob Halberg mentioned that in his talk. It's widely used in the community. So it's a general NUOPC compliant mediator. It's been jointly developed by NCAR, NOAA, and GFDL. It's already been used to couple MOM6, SCI6, WaveWatch 3, FE3, and a lot of other things. So basically, pretty much everything we want to use, almost, has NUOPC caps. And it's also planned for use in future CES ESM releases, so it has a lot of external support. It also has some other nice features that I like, so you can do runtime regridding, so you don't have to calculate those nasty regridding files beforehand, and you can also easily change your coupling interval and ordering and timings and things like that. So why NUOPC? Basically, we can leverage the existing work on MOM6, SCI6, and WaveWatch 3 coupling, and it allows us to plug in models. So we can easily swap out model components for data components, and we could also swap out our ocean or atmosphere model for another NUOPC compliant cap pretty easily. So brief update on what we've done today. So the OM3 coupling infrastructure mostly already exists, which is really great, which is what motivated Cosima to first look at this and what motivated us to look at NUOPC as well. So the infrastructure is there, the coupling is there, but we're missing a couple of things. So in Ghost, right in here in Wombat, so Wombat isn't in MOM6 yet, that's something we need to add. Also the configurations are different, they have different grids, different forcings and science options. And so Doogie and Alil from ACCESS-NRI are working to create an OM2 like OM3 as a baseline, and then we'll go from there. And then Mikhail and Andrew from Cosima have developed a reproducible build system for OM3, and Cosima, I believe, is looking at the science options now as well. On our side as well, we've developed a NUOPC cat for the UM. So this was the missing piece of the puzzle. So we had the caps for the other components, but we needed to add something to the UM so it could communicate with the other NUOPC models. So to do this, we just had to separate the UM we had to split it out into initialize, run, and finalize routines so we could make that compatible with the NUOPC system. And then we had to expose the UM fields as ESMF data structures and compile it alongside CDAPs and CMAPs. And so with that, we can now run AMIP style runs using the CMAPs mediator. So we're connecting data ocean and data ice models with the CMAPs mediator to the UM. And then in Ghost right in here, we haven't got cable integrated into the UM, but that's something we hope to do in the future for our future AMIP runs. And then finally, we've developed an ACCESS style coupling mode using CMAPs. So this allows us to pass our UM cups, fluxes to MOM6 and SCI6 and couple them properly. So at the moment, we have the UM and MOM6 coupled nicely. MOM6 and SCI6 were already coupled nicely with the configuration we already had. And the bit of work we still have to do is that SCI6 and the UM are separately calculating the ice temperature and radiated fluxes. So there's still work to do there. But that's similar to the changes we had to make to SCI5 for ACCESS CM2. So hopefully that is feasible. So, but a lot of the infrastructure is already there, and a lot of the stuff, and we've added most of the missing components so far. Still a lot of work to do though, of course. And just here's some plots just to convince you that it is working. So this is the UM coupled to MOM6 and SCI6, and this is just a 2-month run. So on the left here, we have sea surface temperatures from the MOM grid. On the right, we have the sea surface temperatures being sent to the UM. And top row is the start of the run, and bottom row is the end of the run at 2 months. And so if you look really closely, you can see that the ocean has changed after 2 months, and that it's the same across both models. But luckily, we actually have a blooper reel where it's easier to see what's going on here, and just to prove that we are actually coupling things across. So this is a terrible model configuration that actually crashes after about 15 days, but you can see the sea surface temperature changes is reflected in the models here, and it's actually been coupled through by the mediator. And this is a funny model. We had the evaporative fluxes wrong, so when the ocean heated up and it evaporated, it actually heated the ocean up more, and so you can see some nice toasty waters right off Port Hedland there, a nice toasty 45 degrees Celsius, at which point one was like, no, that's enough, I'm going to stop this is ridiculous. But luckily we fixed that now, we've got our signs right. But it's a good demonstration to see that it is actually being passed through. And yeah, that's just a brief update on what we've done so far. So to summarize, NUOPC and CMAPS provides a flexible framework for coupling our model components. All model components now have NUOPC caps. We have AMIT run working. We have MOM6, SCI6, and WaveWatch 3 runs working, with work underway to make them more like an OM2-like configuration. We have ACCESS coupling implemented in CMAPS, and a lot of our future work at ACCESS-NRI is going to focus on the SCI6 code changes to make it compatible with the NUOPC coupling system. Sorry, to make it compatible with coupling with the UM. And we're also going to look at scalability as well. Yeah, thank you for listening, and yeah, happy to take any questions you might have.